Today is an introduction and an explanation on one of my favorite TTRPGs of all time, Monster of the Week. Genuinely my favorite system to run, to play, and to introduce people to. So if you want to get into Monster of the Week, I've been a keeper for years, I've been a player for years, and I've introduced more brand new tabletop players to this game than any other system I've ever touched. So when I say this is one of the best games for story-driven play, for horror lovers, and for people who feel intimidated by traditional TTRPGs like D&D, I'm saying that with a lot of love and experience. So this is going to be the video for people who's ever watched shows like Supernatural, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The X-Files, the Magnus Archives, any kind of monster hunting mystery, and thought, I want to play that. And the best part, it's easy to jump into. And I'm about to teach you exactly everything you need to play. So don't forget to like and subscribe and all that. And let's just jump into it. First, a little TTRPG history lesson. Monster of the Week was created by Michael Sands and published by Evil Hat Productions. It's built on the Powered by the Apocalypse game building system, which comes from Apocalypse World, designed by Maggie Baker and D. Vincent Baker. Put some respect on those names because Powered by the Apocalypse completely changed how a lot of us think about tabletop role-playing and launched a whole new genre in the scene and a whole new way of developing games. PBTA games are fiction-first, story-driven, focused on momentum, and designed so failure makes things more interesting. And Monster of the Week is one of the early additions to this whole family of games. It's one of the cleanest and most beginner-friendly examples of that gaming philosophy. What is Monster of the Week? Monster of the Week is a tabletop role-playing game where you play hunters who investigate and deal with supernatural threats. Each session is kind of designed and supposed to feel like an episode of a TV show, hence the name Monster of the Week. You find clues, talk to witnesses, research lore, get into danger, make things worse, and then hopefully by the end make things better and save the day as big damn heroes. It's mystery, it's horror, and it's very, very fun. Instead of dungeon crawling, grinding combat, and optimizing builds, you're following leads, uncovering weaknesses, and building character arcs. Anytime you do something dangerous, dramatic, or uncertain, you roll 2d6 plus the specific stat. Just two normal six-sided die that you probably already have. The results are either gonna be a 10 or more, which means you succeed and you succeed cleanly. You might even get a bonus. A 7 to 9, you succeed, but it's gonna be with some sort of complication or a cost. On a 6 or less, that means things go wrong and the keeper gets to make a move. I really love how no matter the result, something happens. It's never going to be, okay, I just failed. I don't get the thing, I don't get the information, and now what happens? The story never stops or stalls. You failed, and so I hope you're prepared for the pure chaos that's about to be headed your way. Monster of the Week also has mechanic from other traditional tabletop role-playing games where you kind of fail forward, and this can take the sting out of failing sometimes. There's a mechanic in which your characters can upgrade and gain experience. So every time you fail, you mark experience, and then once you get a certain amount of experience, you can get certain upgrades for your character. This might do like unique things, or it might improve abilities that your character has, or allow you to add a new move, maybe even a move from another playbook. But we'll talk more about playbooks in a second. There are only 5 stats in Monster of the Week. There's charm, which is kind of your social persuasion, lying, flirting stat. There's cool, staying calm, acting under pressure. Sharp is kind of like your intelligence stat. It's for investigation, noticing details, kind of also perception. Tough is physical force and combat. And weird is the magic or the otherwise weird abilities, psychic, supernatural things. We also have basic moves that almost every character is going to be able to do. You don't say, I use a move. You describe what your character does, and if it triggers a move, then you'll be told to roll by your keeper. And the keeper is the dungeon master or the game master of Monster of the Week. Common moves are investigative mystery. You generally would roll this with sharp. This is when you search for clues, research, or try to understand what's really going on. This is how you learn about the monster, the phenomenon, its weakness, and the situation. There's also act under pressure, which uses the cool modifier. When you try to do something risky, fast, or dangerous while stressed, threatened, or on a timer, escaping, dodging, sneaking, or keeping your cool in chaos, that's the move that you want to use. Kick some ass. When you fight something that can fight back, this is combat, but it's cinematic and messy. It's not super tactical and it's not turn-based. There's no initiative. You use tough when rolling for this. There's read a bad situation. You also use your sharp for this. And that's when you stop and assess danger. You use this to learn who's in trouble, what's about to go wrong, and what you should be paying attention to. Manipulate someone is charm. This is when you try to convince, threaten, bargain with, or emotionally pressure someone into doing what you want. Protect someone uses tough too, and this is when you step in harm's way to save another person, whether that's a hunter or an NPC. Help out is cool, when you assist another hunter and give them a bonus on their roll by backing them up, distracting, or supporting them. Use magic uses the magic modifier. This is when you cast a spell, perform a ritual, or do something supernatural. Magic is powerful, flexible, and almost always dangerous. Big magic is also something you can do. This is when you attempt something world-changing or extremely powerful or difficult. These are major rituals that require time, preparation, danger, or sacrifice. Characters are built using playbooks, not classes or races. Each is a troop. You're meant to play the version of that archetype, so generally only one playbook would be played in a single game. Some of the ones available are the Chosen, the Destiny-touched hero, marked to face something bigger than themselves. The Spooky, someone with dangerous supernatural powers that they can barely control. The Professional, a trained monster hunter working for an organization with resources and backup. The Mundane, my personal favorite, a normal person who survives on heart, luck, and sheer stubbornness. The Crooked, a morally gray hunter with a criminal past and useful underworld connections. The Monstrous, a hunter who is part monster and uses that darkness to fight worse things. The Divine, a celestial or infernal agent sent to carry out a higher purpose. The Spellslinger, a combat-focused magic user who solves problems with spells and raw power. The Wronged, someone driven by vengeance after losing everything to the supernatural. The Initiate, a member of a secret order just beginning to understand their role in the fight. The Expert, the lore master and problem solver who always seems to have the right tools. And the Flake, a conspiracy-minded investigator who sees patterns others dismiss and is often right. There are more official playbooks in the supplementary materials that came out a little bit later. I will talk about these, not in detail, but just touch on them in a bit. There are also plenty of fan-made playbooks that are available. Playbooks give you unique abilities like a typical character sheet, but there are a lot of things I love about Monster of the Week playbooks specifically. First is how easy they are to navigate. I rarely have to provide a lot of guidance on filling them out, even with new players, because the playbook really seamlessly guides you through step by step, from figuring out your looks, fleshing out your backstory, picking out gear and weapons, unique playbook moves and abilities, and also providing establishing histories you can swap and exchange with your fellow hunters. Combat is fast, dangerous, and fiction first. Most monsters can't be killed without finding their weaknesses first, so investigation really matters. It's also deadly. NPC and even player death are a real possibility. Hunters have to play smart if they want to survive. I'll make another video specifically explaining combat in more detail later. This video is already getting pretty long for a video that's really meant to help you get started and get an idea of how to play the game. But keep your eyes peeled for that, because a lot of newbies, especially those coming from D&D, sometimes struggle with how different combat is in Monster of the Week, because there's no initiative, there's no turn order, and it's not that it's a very complex combat system, it's just very different from what they're used to. Now let's talk about the Keeper's role. The Keeper doesn't roll dice. The Keeper does play the world and the monsters. The Keeper pushes tensions and makes the world feel dangerous, makes failures meaningful, and maybe most importantly is a fan of the hunters. You're not trying to beat the players. It's not the Keeper versus the hunters. You're trying to give them the best horror show possible. You want them to feel like big damn heroes. That means creating challenging and scary monsters or phenomena and setting them up to do cool things. Thankfully, this job is made easier because you can find the Keeper's agenda and moves in a printable sheet form on the Evil Hat website, along with a cheat sheet that you can print out and give to your players, several form-fillable playbooks, and a blank mystery prep sheet. Now, I promised we would talk a little bit more about supplements and extra content. There are supplements that give you new playbooks, pre-made mysteries, campaign advice, other tools like horror pacing tools, alternative tones and genres, and more. You can find these books that have come out over the years on the Evil Hat website. I especially recommend Tomb of Mysteries, which is an incredible resource. You can also find them on DriveThruRPG and maybe even your local game store. The developers are still releasing a lot of extra content for this game, which is really great for us who continue to play it. In addition to more official supplementary material though, there's a lot of community support for Monster of the Week. The subreddit is one of the most helpful TTRPG spaces I've been in there. There are people who, one, have run this game longer than I have, know the rules inside and out, and love helping new players and keepers, especially ones coming from D&D or more traditional games. We really love seeing new people discover Monster of the Week and fall in love with it. And this is why Monster of the Week is my favorite TTRPG. Different, it's accessible, it's powerful, it's narrative first, and it trusts you to be creative. So if you love horror, mystery, and character-driven stories, Monster of the Week is one of the best places to start. And honestly, it might end up becoming one of your favorite games too. Stay weird. Bye.